Hey, this is Keith from moderndayhealing.com, and I wanted to make a video about meditation, and especially meditation and the reason why it's so important, not just in general, but also in the modern world, in today's world, today's society. And there's obviously a long history of meditation. Meditation dates back pretty far, and I don't really think that information is all that necessary or relevant right now. So I think I'm going to just talk more about my experience, the way that I view it, and what I think makes the most sense for starting and sticking to a meditation practice. So starting with the why, I think meditation is misunderstood in a lot of ways, and the way that I see that is a lot of people think it to be something where the practice is about completely clearing the mind, the practice is about being at complete peace during meditation, and that it's about something that happens within the time that we spend sitting still. And at some point it may be that way. Those things all may fall into part of what makes up meditation, but for most of us, and in the beginning, really the harder it is to clear the mind, the bigger the indicator that we need to be doing it. The harder it is to sit still, the bigger the indicator that it's completely necessary in our lives. And really the way that I see meditation is that it's about what carries over from sitting still into the rest of our lives. And that's kind of the thing that has transcended time, that has transcended over the years. And I say that because I'm going to say what I think is relevant to the modern world too, but what has transcended is when we get used to that practice of sitting and connecting with our breath and being aware, we bring that into our everyday lives. So I think more meditation is almost an investment in, say we spend 10 minutes twice a day or 20 minutes twice a day. It's more an investment in the other 23 hours, and well, you take out sleep, but whatever other amount of hours we're functioning in our lives in the world, we carry over what we gain. And what we gain is really a deeper awareness of ourselves and a deeper connection with ourselves. And what that awareness looks like is being able to recognize things for what they really are. Not getting caught up in our head, not getting caught up in our desires and our thoughts, in our insecurities. I think meditation, like the Buddha said, is more about letting go. It's about letting go, or it's the process of letting go. The benefits are about letting go of fear, anger, resentment, worry, anxiety, insecurity, self-doubt, those things. And when we get rid of those things, we gain the opposites. We gain peace of mind, we gain happiness, we gain, there's a lot of mosquitoes out here, we gain security, self-confidence, groundedness, awareness. So the gain is kind of what fills the place of what we let go of. And I think that in the modern world, the reason why this is even more relevant and more important in terms of being a healthy and fully functioning, fully integrated human being, is that now we are stimulated way, way, way more than we ever were in the past, especially, before 20, 30, 40 years ago. But we are bombarded by advertisements, TV, radio, music, electronics, even just stuff coming in from all angles, people all the time, jobs that we have to constantly be bringing in information and being stimulated in some way. And the ability to disconnect from that, the ability to step back and quiet our mind, sit in silence, create some space. I think that's really somebody that I respect a good amount, a friend of mine. The way that he describes meditation is creating the space. It just creates a little bit of space between thoughts and reactions, or ourselves and our thoughts, even just a step back to be the observer rather than be so caught up in what's happening, just carried from one thing to another, almost like on a raft on a river, or on like the rapids, where we just literally are being carried wherever we go, and we're just trying to hold onto the raft for dear life, because if we fall off of that, we're just done for. But we don't know anything else to do. So one wave comes, we hit one rock, we do this thing, it just completely takes us out, it sweeps us away, and we have no awareness or ability to step back from that. And really, probably a better analogy, and I've probably heard this somewhere before, I don't know where it came from, but it's not an original idea, I don't think. But meditation is like, well, let's step back. If you look at life as the ocean, right? The waves that are coming in are our thoughts and the events in our lives. Some days the waves are huge and they're crashing all around. Some days it's a lot more calm. But the average person, the average human being, is like somebody in the water who's in a little bit over their heads. They can't quite stand there. They know how to doggy paddle a little bit, so they're just making way. They're just functioning. But every time a wave comes, they're just tossed and turned. And because it's such a difficult experience, they spend their lives literally trying to stop the waves from happening, trying to prevent the waves, trying to resist and fight the waves. And meditating is like learning to surf. It's like learning to see the waves for not only something that doesn't have to be a painful, crazy experience, but something that can be ridden and enjoyed. So when we learn to meditate, or we learn to transfer our experience of meditation, or I don't even think learn's the right way to say it, but when we integrate what we get from meditation into our daily lives, then we become the surfer. So not only do we learn to ride the waves and not get upset about the waves or thrown off by the waves, but we're almost just okay whether the waves are calm or going crazy, because we understand how to just ride the wave. We understand how to stay on our surfboard and just flow. We don't need to control. We're not looking like, oh my God, another wave is coming in, freaking out. It's just like, all right, it's coming in, I'm gonna get ready on my surfboard and learn to just kind of stay neutral with everything. And I think that would be meditation in action. But the practice of meditation itself would be like discovering that there is a shore. Like, most people are so focused on the waves, they're so caught up looking this way, that they don't even realize that behind them there's a bank, there's some sand, some solid ground that you can go sit on and like have some time to chill out and disconnect from the actual waves, from all the excitement. And that's what I think meditation is. Committing to a meditation practice is like taking time every day to sit on the beach and just look at the waves, observe the ocean, disconnect from it, be able to see it for what it is and not get emotionally trapped or caught up in what's happening. And that's like an analogy. I forget who said this one, but think about the practice of meditation as like sitting on the beach, just watching people walk by. We're not getting too caught up or too attached to the people that are walking by. We're just observing them. And the people in this metaphor are like our thoughts. We're just seeing them walk by. And anytime we catch ourselves getting too involved in any of the people or too caught up, like, oh, what's that guy's tattoos? What's that guy wearing? Look at that backpack. What are they eating? We just come back to the breath. We continually gain more awareness of coming back to our breath. And that's where it translates into our daily lives, in the fact that we will get caught up in these spirals in our thoughts. But the more frequently and the more quickly we can bring ourselves back and remember to connect with our breath, remember in the midst of all of it to focus on our breathing, to feel our breathing. Because what that does is the mind likes to have something to be occupied with. It likes to wander. So something starts happening, we ruminate about how it could get worse, or what's going to happen, who's going to be upset, how we're going to fail. But if we're connected to our breath, if we're occupying the attention of our mind on our breathing, then it doesn't need to go to those things, because then we can actually be in the moment and handle things as they come in reality, rather than try to predict and get all caught up. So in terms of how to start meditating, again, I think that it's important to understand that it's not about stopping our thoughts. It's not about going to some other dimension or having some ridiculous or wild experience. It's just about learning to sit there, and as the thoughts come, don't get attached to them. And every time we notice ourselves getting caught up in them, just come back and pay attention to the breath. Feel it going in the nostrils. Watch with the mind's eye the belly rising and falling. Just observe the sensation. And meditation doesn't have to be an hour twice a day. It doesn't have to be 2 hours. It doesn't have to be 30 minutes. It can be whatever. It will evolve. I've been meditating for about 5 years, and it has fluctuated. It's gone up and down. For a while I was less consistent with it, but in the past couple of years it's been something that I'm pretty consistent with. And the biggest teacher for me with that has been every time I don't meditate or I get out of doing it consistently, I realize how much different the rest of my life is, how much different the way that I experience life is. So to start, even doing I think one of the first books that I read on meditation, which is I think called A Beginner's Guide to Meditation by Swami Kriyananda, maybe? I think that was the name. But it would talk about just meditating for like 10 seconds a day, so that you literally wanted more. Instead of forcing yourself and be like, I can't sit here anymore, I just want to get up, I'm going crazy. Just do it for 10 seconds to where you get up and go, I could have done more. And then the next day, do a little bit more. And just work your way up even to 2 or 3 minutes. And do that in the AM and in the evening before going to bed or at some point, and see where it goes. I think it's a lot more important just to commit to it. Even if you're about to go to bed and you realize, I haven't meditated tonight, but it's late, I need to go to bed, I can't think about sitting down for 3 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever. Just sit on the edge of the bed, and take 2 or 3 deep breaths. Take 10 or 20 seconds just to keep up the consistency. Just find a way to get it in daily, rather than it being about length of time. For me, and this is only my experience, some people may completely differ in the way that they approach it, but rather than it being all about the length of time, let it be about the consistency. And let it build. Let yourself see what it does for you. Let yourself get to the point where it's a reprieve. You know, all right, me sitting down and doing this breathing, I'm gonna be relaxed. I'm going to feel good after I do it. And as we start, and again, going full circle to the beginning, when the mind goes wild during it, we should just be able to observe and look at it as comical in a way. Look how wild my mind goes. Look how crazy all these thoughts are going through my mind. Look how difficult it is for me to detach from them. Rather than getting attached to that, stay detached. Just observe that. Wow, I really get caught up in these thoughts. Wow, these things really bother me. Wow, as soon as I sit down 10 seconds later, I'm getting hit with all these emotions and all this stuff that I really don't want to be thinking about. The more that we can observe that, the more simple and easy it becomes to sit there and do it. So I think that's enough. This is a lot longer than I intended. This video is almost 15 minutes, but start there. I'm telling you, if you haven't meditated, it's so worthwhile. I will add this, that I think, based on my experience, like the way that I like to look at meditation is the universe being very paradoxical and almost comical in a way, and very balanced and contrasting. It's almost like meditation was hidden in the most simple thing, just sitting still, observing the breath. because it has the potential to be the most powerful. We hide, the universe hid the most powerful thing in the most simple practice, almost as a trick in a way. I think a lot of things in the universe are pretty funny in a sense. It just, none of it makes any sense, and a lot of it is very contradictory. But anyway, it's worth trying, it's worth sticking with, it's 100% worth sticking with. And if you ever fall off, don't get down on yourself. Just observe how you feel differently when you don't do it. Observe how much more your mind wanders. Observe how much more you're either caught in the past, or caught thinking about the future, or stuck in the past. And then over time, which it's different for everybody, it doesn't need to be this amount of time or that amount of time, there's just a realization that, you know what, the investment of however many minutes, once or twice a day, makes every other second of the day not only more bearable, but more enjoyable, peaceful, happy, content. So it's worth me doing it. I appreciate you watching. There's a written blog with this that has a little bit more in it on moderndayhealing.com. Check it out. Check out the other stuff on there. And I hope you have a good rest of your day.